This is the rhythm of change. This is the sound of redemption. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Igniting the fire within you, exalting the melody of freedom. These are the things that will bring it down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud, shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Down, down, down.
Let me tell you, it's in the air. Joy is in the air. Love is in the air. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Don't sleep on it, brother. You might get left, sister. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Justice. No need to be counted, cause I am down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down for the end of racism, for the end of bigotry, cause I am down. For the end of misogyny, that's right. For all the isms out there, just down, down, down. Let's bring it down. Rise up, people. No more foolishness. And let's bring it way down.
Riding the river of change into the cries of contrition. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. We are the children of Eden, dancing and celebrating freedom. We are the ones that must bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. We've got to bring it down, down. Stand up and shout. Stand up and shout. Rise together.
Accountability starts now. The Eric Dawson Radio Show.
Yeah. Rise up. Stand up, shouting loud.
If you are not prepared to come to that table and to represent that voice, don't come. Because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice. And if you're worried about being marginalized and stereotyped, please don't even show up.
Let's get ready to rumble. So we had the debate last night. But anyway, before we get to that, good morning, everybody. It's Thursday. Welcome to another sun-shining episode of the Eric Dawson Show in the age of COVID-19 and all the other craziness that's going on in the world. How you guys doing today?
Good morning, Eric. I'm doing wonderful.
And you, Vincent?
Oh man, I'm loving this Friday Eve day.
Friday Eve. I like that. You know, yeah, Friday Eve.
Oh yeah.
Listen, is there gonna be Halloween this year? I mean, well, I know it's gonna be Halloween, but are you gonna buy candy? Do you normally buy candy?
We normally do, but not this year.
You don't think you don't think the kids are gonna come by?
Not the fact that the kids are gonna come by. I want to actually deter kids from coming by.
But they're gonna have masks on. Boom, boom.
I want to show up with an M95.
They're gonna have masks on. Come on now. You ask them to wear masks, they're gonna wear masks.
No.
No?
That's not quite the mask that, I would say that would keep everybody safe. And no, I'm not, big on being considered a contributor to the super spreader. Not to mention the fact that kids carry diseases, especially during this time of year, cold and flu.
But they can go. But wait a minute. They can go out. I mean, they're not congregating at your house. So, for instance, when I was a kid and I went trick or treating, I didn't go with a whole group of people. I went with my a couple friends. And so if parents are responsible, and parents have their siblings go out, well, they're exposed to each other anyway in the house. And, if you don't open your door, just leave your treats on the porch, as I do every year. I don't open the door. I leave the treats on the porch. And I just ask people to take one. I know they take more than one, but I ask them to take one.
Yeah, well, we did the treats on the porch thing one year, and what we got was a couple of kids riding by on their bicycle and taking the entire bag.
They took the whole bag? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that happens too.
So that theory's out for me. Not to mention, now, Halloween before was just a matter of social gathering and giving kids candy and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But now, these kids are carrying diseases that can kill my 59-year-old behind. So, no, it ain't going to happen.
Hey, Diane, are you going to give candy?
I never really get candy anyway. I participate in some things with this local schools when they do the trunk cars when parents decorate their trunks and stuff.
Oh, trick or trunk?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I donate candy and stuff. I don't really do all of that. Look, I got dogs. I don't need people on the property.
Good morning, Brian Powers, who's tuned into the show this morning. Hey, Brian, when we get ready to talk about the debate, man, I would love... what's going on in my video? I hope my video is... See, I'm going to tell you, Facebook is the devil.
I said it first.
They're the devil. Listen, guys, if you can't get me on Facebook, please, go and check me out on YouTube. But Facebook is the devil.
Slide on over to YouTube. YouTube.
Like Diane, I'm telling you, I've had no issues at all
Well,
with
I'm not
Facebook
gonna tell you.
until I do the show.
Well, I ain't gonna tell you before that we should have moved over, but
No, no. Well, you mean just not do Facebook at all?
yeah,
Well,
absolutely. We're
well,
completely over and away. Hmm.
well. We are on YouTube, so you guys can go check us out on YouTube. But yeah, Brian, I'd love for you to call this morning if you want to weigh in. I always value your opinion. What was I going to ask you about trick or treat? Do you remember dunking? You talk about spreading germs and disease. Do you
Yes,
remember
Bob.
bobbing
Yes.
for apples?
Oh my God.
Who's gonna bob for apples in the age of COVID-19?
We used to do that at the Hillside Community Center, and I remember always trying to get an apple and could not do it, and realized this is a stupid game.
You know,
But yeah, all
that
of
should
us
be a game that we should invite all of the conspiracy theorists to play. Diane, yeah, I
spit, yeah.
I would open my house for a bobbing of the apple for all of those who say don't wear masks, that it's a hoax, and they don't want vaccines. Come one, come all. Come Bob. I'll supply the apples. I swear I will. I mean, you guys will have to do it outside. You can't come in my house and do it. But you
Yeah.
certainly can do it outside. And I'll hold you at bay with my water hose.
Did you see in the news that that the Jewish community in Brooklyn had a big mask burning ceremony?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'd invite them to come too. They can come and bob. They can all come bob. One big bobbing for apples. I mean, you talk about thinning the herd, right? We would do that quickly, and then we'd have more resources for, more sensible people, right? Because I just think that some folks who walk this earth are just, just consuming oxygen that, other folks might otherwise consume. So let's just put that to an end. So I invite you. I'm gonna send out an invite. What is it? The Evite on social media, right? I'll send that out. Let's see how many responses I get. I'll also do it on Facebook. I'll send out an invite. See how many people respond and say that they'll kind of come. Anyway, I know folks are probably very interested in our opinions on the debate last night, if you want to call it that, right? I call it theater.
That was a gathering, not a debate.
It was a
That
gathering.
was like a waste again.
I was going to make popcorn for it, but did you see the cornbread I made?
Oh, that looks so good.
Diane, Vincent, did you check out my page last night? And
Was
listen,
that Jiffy popcorn? I mean, Jiffy.
no. I don't do homemade cornbread. I'm sorry. Too much effort. Walmart's brand cornbread, Diane. And I used 2 boxes, right? So I double the recipe. And then I put a teaspoon of honey in it, Diane. And then I cook it in my cast iron skillet in the oven.
Yeah.
It is spectacular.
Well, you had me until you said Walmart. I don't.
Walmart's the devil too?
Walmart is definitely the devil.
Yeah.
Definitely not giving the Waltons another penny.
Well, you know what though? But the Waltons saved me pennies.
And it's crappy in that store.
That depends on which one you go to. Diane, I go to depends on the one you go to. I go to the one, well, I'm not even going to say which one I go to. Because then people start going. people start going there. No, but it does depend on the one you go to. Even the one, like the one on 22, right? If you don't go to that one, you go further west on 22 to the one in Watchung, in the Watchung Shopping Center. That is a different experience. The same way the Costco right there on 22 in Springfield or Union, whatever it is. If you don't do that one, if you go further west and you go to the one on the eastbound side but further west, that is a much different experience.
Yeah, well, I'm good. I go to Target. That's my store.
Well, Target is the same. You can go to some Targets and they're Targets, and then you can go to some Targets that are Targets. So
No, they're all good.
they're all good for you.
They're all good. Nope. Not going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, but my cornbread was, well, Walmart's cornbread that I made.
So what did you make with the cornbread? Or did you just eat cornbread? Did you make
No, no,
chili
no, no.
cornbread?
So
Really?
no, I told you what I do. So I went to Costco. Well, I didn't go. Amina went to Costco, and well, see, the great debate: a rotisserie chicken from Costco or from BJ's. Costco wins hands down. I think it's a bigger chicken. They don't shoot it up with hormones and things like that, and it's much more flavorful. So she was gonna go to BJ's to get it, and I mean, the engagement would have been off. so, yes. See, Jody Pittman says Costco. Jody, that chicken at Costco is the.
Costco. I'm gonna go to Costco tomorrow. I'm gonna try this chicken. And I'm
Wait a
gonna-
minute, you have not had the rotisserie chicken from Costco, Diane?
I can't remember. I'm not sure if I had the chicken from Costco or the chicken from ShopRite. I don't know.
No, don't ever get. Well, let me not talk about ShopRite. I'm just gonna talk about how good the chicken at Costco is. I will not talk about ShopRite. Vincent, have you had the has your wife blessed you with the pleasure of the rotisserie chicken from Costco?
No. My wife makes her own version of a rotisserie chicken, which I have to say that I enjoy immensely.
Yeah, you know what? I used to do my own, right? And I did a chicken. I would do it. I had a rotisserie, the countertop rotisserie thing, and then I did it in the oven, and then I bought an air fryer, and I did it. But to me, when you can go to Costco and get a rotisserie chicken for $6 and do nothing, right? Or get a raw chicken, have to clean it, season it, then you have to put in your oven, you have to go through all of that stuff. It just seems to make sense. Huh?
To me, that's the joy of it, that my wife would take the time and put her love into it.
Well, so you could take the time, put a love in a drive into Costco.
Drive to Costco.
I mean, huh?
That's more convenient than love.
Wait a minute. All right. Well, then, you know what? I'm going to have a conversation with your wife and tell her don't go to the produce section anymore, that she should grow your tomatoes. That would be love. She grows your tomatoes and your cucumbers, your zucchini and onions and all that stuff?
She grows the tomatoes, the onions. This year we grew sweet potatoes.
Oh, nice. Hey, listen, man. Hey, you got one of them women out of the Book of Ruth.
I'm telling you, I've been so blessed. I feel so blessed with her and undeserving of the things that she does for me. So yeah, you're right. Oh, by the way, we
I
also
wonder if
have
she
our
feels
own.
the same way.
Oh, of course she does. Of course she does.
We got to get her on we got to get her on the show.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, see that? Wait a minute, Diane, do you see how that changed? He went from, of course she does, to, oh,
Come out.
Okay, well, all right. I'll tell you what. What we'll do is because here the thing is that my wife teaches school, so when we're doing the show, she's usually in her class. So it may be a little difficult, but how about on one of those school days off?
well, you know what would be interesting? Well, Amina and I are not married yet.
Wait a minute. First of all, why they got school days off? Everybody's home. They don't need a day off. Keep going. You're
Yeah.
already behind the Chinese and the Japanese and everybody else. Keep going. Push through. Push through.
The way as I explained before the show, my wife have really laid into the teach the children and the parents about their performance virtually. So yeah, at the rate and the energy that she puts in it, yeah, sister need a day off. Because I don't want by the end of the school year she's talking to herself, her hair falling out, and all that other stuff. No, get sister a day off, please.
Jeez. So you know what would be a good episode? And I can't call it the spouses episode because I'm not married yet. Although we're working on a date, and we'll let you guys know.
Significant others.
But
Significant other.
and
Yeah.
right, but we should do a show right where we don't come on at all. We just allow them allow them to do a show. That'd be very interesting. Um, eh,
Or the three of us get to ask three questions to each of our significant others and let them answer.
wait a minute. Do we get to ask questions to our own significant others, or does somebody else get to ask our
Oh,
significant
no,
other?
we get to ask questions to somebody else's.
Oh, see, I think that's more interesting. I think Amina would be down for that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to prep my wife with prep for this debate.
I ain't gonna trap my husband. He 100% north. You got something crazy and out of line? Oh, it's gonna be on and popping.
Oh, no. I'm prepping my wife for the Diane question.
So that should be real interesting. So anyway, let's dive, if we can, into debate. What I tried to pull up was I found a website, and this is NBC, and the headline of this is the vice presidential debate by the numbers: topics, attacks, and interruption tracker. Right? So this kind of tells you that they talked about foreign policy for 3 minutes and 57 seconds. They talked about the economy for 7 minutes and 15 seconds. They talked about the Supreme Court for 4 minutes and 48 seconds. The election for 3 minutes and 54 seconds. They talked about Biden for 7 minutes and 8 seconds. They talked about Trump for 14 minutes and 6 seconds. They talked about COVID-19 for 9 minutes and 55 seconds. They talked about race for 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
So, do you think that those who were undecided came out of this debate feeling any better or focused on who they may go out and vote for? Because from what I saw on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, people are still up in the air and unhappy with these last two debates, and they expected, at least with this one, to be better because we knew Kamala to be smart. And some of us thought that Pence was smart, but apparently he was just a talking head for Trump. What do you think?
Well, I think that, firstly, I think that, let's take them by groups, right? I think that Black Americans should have been disgusted. Disgusted. Because even when we talk about race, that they talked about race for 4 minutes, I want you to understand right now, this country is in one of the most tumultuous times in my lifetime, right? And it is all about race. It is about the corporation of white supremacy. It is about the fact that the veil has been removed, right? And they spent 4 minutes and change talking about it, but didn't really talk about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Didn't talk about, and so they had nothing for me. They had nothing for me. And they wanted every Black American to simply despise Donald Trump and have that be enough. Right? And so the black woman, and so we can have that conversation too about, because you saw all over Facebook, and it's interesting, right? You got a lot of people, I'm telling you, Diane, who are saying, no, she's not Black. Right?
That's right.
Got a lot of people. I want you all to pay attention now to those posts that you see where people are like, well, no. We're not going to let you do that. No. Back up. And so I don't care how she tried to change the inflection in her voice. With her hair bobbing, I'm talking now. Right? No, Kamala. No. So for Black people, I think that by and large, they haven't been moved. I think that if you are engaged in tribalism, right? So I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, then you may have your position may have been fortified as a result, right? She gave you the reason to keep fighting. He gave you the reason to keep fighting. Neither of them, I think, had any bad mistakes during the course of it, which I think was the ultimate goal, that they were supposed to just kind of hold the line and leave it to the top of the ticket to duke it out in the next debate. And that's kind of where I saw it. And I ate my
So,
cornbread.
Well, first and foremost, I believe this, and I want to make this perfectly clear that this is Vincent Squire's opinion. So, people who consider themselves undecided are basically in denial because the present climate of our country, as you said, I mean, we haven't had this much increase in racial inequality and blatant show of strength of the corporation of white supremacy since the 50s. Uh, and we're looking at a situation where unemployment, which blacks are disproportionately affected by, are suffering. We're looking at a situation where there is a pandemic in which blacks are disproportionately affected. We're looking at a president who does not care, even after contracting the virus.
so what president can you tell us cared about black people?
I think Obama cared.
Since day one.
I think that
Obamacare. We're going to talk about Obamacare, but
I think to a point Bill Clinton cared. And here's the thing that really gets me: they are so quick to discount Kamala Harris as being considered black, but they were so embracing of calling Bill Clinton the first black president.
oh well, yeah.
But like I said, anybody right now who is undecided is in true denial, and I think the census and the poll was absolutely right. A lot of black people are existingly punishing the Democratic Party.
Well, they're punching. You know what? See, because we're punching back. See, here's the. Oh God damn. So when I hit the abuser back, I'm punishing them, right? I'm not just defending myself. And I think we have to stop with that narrative. We got to stop being bullied by people who they tell you to stand up, but then when you stand up, they don't like what it looks like. So now they say, "Oh, don't stand up, at least not right now." So you got black people who have looked and say they look. Listen, I drove home from the bakery this morning, and right on Liberty Avenue, right, we crossed over where the 7-Eleven is, Diana, and you know what they inscribed on the street there, right? And so my cousin says, he goes, "Cousin Eric." I said, "Yeah, what's up, Tyler?" He goes, "Did you see that?" I said, "Yeah, I saw it." He said, "They wrote Black Lives Matter on the streets." And I said to Tyler, "Tyler, do you think Black Lives matter?" And he said, "No." See, so
And let's put it in front put more context to it. They painted it in front of a car wash and in front of the old Bristol Myers on Liberty Avenue and Hillside that has been abandoned and property has been unmaintained for over 15 years down the street from City Hall on the main street. So no, it doesn't matter.
right. And so when black people now, you say yes, the Democratic Party needs to be taken to the woodshed and they need their asses whooped. But you know what people are saying? Well, don't do it right now. Like, we understand you got some issues with us, but right now we have a bigger issue, a collective issue that we need you to involve yourself in. So once again, like black people have done in this country since we've been here, right? We've been enlisted in other people's fights. And now they're going, "No, we're not fighting for you anymore. We're fighting for ourselves." And now they're trying to guilt them into by saying, "Well, if you don't do this and Donald Trump gets reelected, it's all your fault."
Well, no, Eric. Here's the thing. In terms of the term punishing the Democrats, here is the big problem. One of the hugest issues, or largest issues, and we talk about this on this show a lot, is the simple fact of this: they do not get out and vote. Yet they want to be upset about the outcome. That's the whole thing. Now, if you want to punish the Democratic Party, then you simply get out there the next election and you vote those people, those Democrats that do nothing out.
So my question is, how is them not voting not punishing the Republicans? Why is it always the Democrats that we're supposed to be supporting? Who said we have to support them? And who said that are not voting because of the Democrats, or they're living in the reality of I'm about to get foreclosed on. I'm homeless, or I can't pay my rent and I'm going to get evicted illegally and I have nowhere to go. online saying they infused $2,000 into our pockets. Where was this money?
Well, let's look at.
Those people are not voting because the people that are in office are lying. It has nothing to do with the Democrats. But what they see is he's been in office 47 years and has done nothing to save black people. Now he's running for president, and you got a fool that's in there who's done nothing for us while he's there. So why do we come out?
You know, Diane, thanks for opening my eyes to that.
Can I address what she said, please? And I could do this in 2 minutes, relatively. 2 minutes or less. Let the moderator start the clock. Now, first and foremost, why do they say that black people vote? Because black people are disproportionately registered Democrats. So when they look at the actual polling and look at the population and voting, or the people, they find that this disproportionate people who carry a great deal of weight, which politicians therefore come by every election cycle and try to get them to vote, don't vote. And the problem is when they don't vote, the wrong person stays in power. How do you think that you got the situation with Baraka and we got the situation with Booker? Because his supporters go out and vote. Yet people who do not like him decide that they are not going to vote, which means he wins.
Right, but what Diane is asking is this, and then I'm going to take the call.
Hold on.
But wait, okay.
I still got some time on my 2 minutes. And the other thing, in terms of people upset right now about their about being evicted or being foreclosed on, or the $2,000, Donald Trump pulled out of that stimulus, told them to pull out of that stimulus meeting. And one of the biggest things that they were arguing about is the aid for people who are about to be evicted for rent, giving the money to the landlords. They're talking about the aid that they're pulling out, making the mortgage companies hold on foreclosures into a better time, or people become more financially able to resume it. We're talking about increasing, because those little pennies in that $1,200 when everybody has roughly $9,000 a month in bills isn't helping.
Right. Okay.
And he stopped that.
Okay. So Diane, and I'm gonna take the call. Give me 1 second, caller. What Diane, I think, is saying is this: though you might be registered Democrat, you should always vote your interest, right? And if you're voting your interest, sometimes that means you're not going to vote for a Democrat. You may vote for an independent, you may vote for a Republican, right? But you're going to always vote your interest. And she's saying, why aren't people who are not voting punishing the entire establishment? Why do you say that they're punishing just Democrats? Everybody gets punished, right? When they say, you know what, I'm bailing out of this thing because it ain't working for me. This government, not Democrat, Republican, the government by and large is not working for me. They're not speaking to me, and so I'm not voting. And now you have people say, well, you're a registered Democrat, so you're punishing Democrats. No, I agree with Diane. No, you're not. Call or go.
Okay. Well,
let's take the call.
Let's address this after the call.
Let's take the call. Call or go.
Good morning. Vote. Like a TIT.
Every time I call, right?
There you go.
So first of all, Eric, I'm not letting you off the hook like that, because 2 days ago you made your proclamation that Pence was going to shock the world.
I did.
I wrote it on my pad.
I did.
Yes, you did.
I did.
You said we were going to come back here today and we were going to have a conversation because he was going to shock us.
I did.
He's a good debater.
Go ahead, Jody.
He had some tricks and, on shit up his sleeve. Okay, cool. So I'm not going to let you just, swing by and say, oh, it was nothing, it wasn't great.
Right.
There was some great things about this debate, right? Great thing. One, and I want to check this. Nowhere on my social media, and I am a social media stalker during this time, so I go on other folks' page and watch what people are saying on their page. And I didn't see not one time one black person say that Kamala Harris was not black. I didn't see
Oh, I'll screenshot them for you.
I did see, right? I saw, the black woman head bob, and some people, excuse me, and this is so strange, right? Some black men said that was so disrespectful to all the black people to all the black women in the world. Well, you don't get to say that. You ask a woman, and black woman, and see how she felt. I felt like it was just right, because if she had done the opposite, which was called him on the outlandish and historical lies he told, or called him on his fake Ronald Reagan slow tither to the helldom of hypocrisy, right? She would have been called the mad black woman. So damn, let her make a face. Let her make a face, because that was so whatever.
Right.
Real much on that. What I will say is that was, let's give her credit for it being her first time in that space, at that level, and doing an impeccable job and doing just what the corporation of white supremacy expected her to do and not do, which was yell and scream and kick and lie and cheat and be disgraceful. I think women, not just black women, I think women across this country were proud last night. I think that we should just act like that didn't happen, that moment didn't happen, because that's why we're in this bag, women, that we're in. It's people, when we do well, they try to play it under the cuff like it wasn't that big of a deal. And
they minimize it.
If we go up one octave, then we are emotional creatures of dismay and dishappiness.
Right. So what I want to say is this, Jody. No, stop, Vincent. What I want to say is this, Jody, is because Jody is responding to my comment, so I'm going to. Right. So, yeah, Mike Pence underperformed. In my estimation, yeah, he underperformed. I think that Kamala held serve, right? And that's it. I thought that he would do better. I don't think he did poorly, but I thought he would do better. I didn't. I think that she. I think she did well, right? But I'm pausing because no. But I'm gonna tell you why I'm pausing, right? I'm pausing because I'm when I say better, well, underperformed, overperformed, what am I measuring it against, and what am I hoping for, right? So when I say that somebody did well for me, or did well for themselves and did well for the corporation of white supremacy. See, so I need to clarify that, right? Because neither of them did well for me. Their poor performance didn't hurt me, right? It damaged maybe whatever the oligarchs who are currently heavily invested in them might be looking to gain should one of them be vice president and in their top of the ticket win the presidency. But that has nothing to do with Eric, right? So I'm trying to make sure that I measure it by that, right? And that's the only reason that I pause. But yes, I think that in the end, Kamala is skilled. Right, she's a former prosecutor, right? Yeah. So she's skilled, and she showed it last night. And again, Mike Pence, I think that he had a lot to defend with regard to Donald Trump. And I think that he did, as well as he could do in defending the things.
The debate and talk about what was talked about and what was not talked about. So
right.
One of the topics they talked about, and I think, Eric, you said it was about 4 minutes that they spent on this. They talked about the killing of Breonna Taylor. And Harris told Pence that she would not be lectured. And Pence said it was an insult to police officers across the United States for Biden and Harris to say that there's implicit bias in the criminal justice system. And then Harris went on to respond, well, I will not sit here and be lectured by the vice president on what it means to enforce laws of our country, since that she...
Well, Diane, he went further, and this got under my craw. So He went further than that. He said, I'm paraphrasing, but somebody could find the actual quote, right? He said to suggest that there is structural or systemic racism is wrong. Now, he said that. And to me, we need to fully understand that there is a intentional disconnect there, right? Because structural racism does exist. He is the benefactor of it, right? In receiving his white privilege and basking in it every fucking day, right? And so for him to sit there and say in that moment, I saw a meme and there was a fish that was swimming in the water, and there was a fisherman in a boat, and the fish was swimming by the fish, and the fisherman says, this is a cartoon meme, and the fisherman says to the fish, how's the water? And you know what the fish says? What water? Right? Because the fish doesn't know it's water. It just is what it is. Right? And so for Mike Pence, he's like the fish. So when you try to have the conversation with him about structural racism, right, he doesn't understand it. When you try to talk to him about white supremacy and white privilege, he doesn't understand. He's like that fish that says, what water?
I think that's giving him a little too much credit to say that he doesn't understand it. Just say he doesn't care, right? He understands it. He's no dumb man. He's been in this business.
I stand corrected, Jody. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I stand corrected. He doesn't care. He's beyond the fish who's just oblivious, right?
Right.
And so for him to be on national television as the vice president of the United States, speaking in behalf of the most powerful man in the free world, and to say that it is absurd to believe that there's structural racism in America, right, should give rise to every black person. Not that, and this isn't, and understand, he is a product of something. Right? So you could be mad at him, but I'm like, damn. And this is why the post that I put up the other day on my page that said, we're painting Black Lives Matter on streets, but we're still sending our kids to the schools that teach them through their curriculum and books that Black lives don't matter.
Right.
Right? So there's, yeah. So I'm sorry, but that's what he said, Diane. You were talking about that piece, but that's what he said. He went further than what you quoted.
And that's the importance of us dialing back to pull out the parts of what they said, because everybody didn't get that, because nobody referenced that last night on any social media page. They did not reference that. They were stuck on the fly sitting on his head. So the other thing that they talked about, and Harris pushed back on Pence, was fracking attack. They went on to say that amid the intense hurricane season and devastating wildfires, Harris and Pence had a sharp exchange over climate change. Asked if climate change was an existential threat, Pence avoided a direct answer. The climate is changing. We'll follow the science, is what Pence said, after charging that Biden would raise taxes on every American and ban fracking. You see how he switched and changed the question? Now, again, he took control of the debate, doing the same thing, but doing it on a lower level than what Trump did by changing the direction of the questions. So I asked the question, you answered part of the question, and then you switched the question and threw it on the other person, because now she's in a position where she feels as though she had to defend Biden, when she should have just simply allowed him to keep talking and answer the question that was being questioned.
That's a debate strategy, right? And everybody does that. But the question is, but here's the question.
That question itself one of the things that the moderator did was double down on Pence, and she repeated it. And he said the president thinks that the president thinks that they need better forest management, rather than and again dodging the actual question on the global warming and the environment.
Right.
Diane's right. He never truly answered the question.
Right, but
so what people should be also concerned about is fracking itself is harmful to the climate. There have been resolutions and laws passed in many towns, especially in New Jersey as well, to stop them from expanding the pipeline so that they can create fracking coming through New Jersey, coming from the Appalachian Mountains from Pennsylvania into New Jersey, because it has been shown by proof, and Michael Moore, I believe, did a documentary on it, on how fracking, once you push down into the ground and you release these gases into the air, the communities in which these fracking has happened has been a extremely high level of cancer, people dying, water. Literally, he showed you could ignite water because there was so much gas passing through the water that was running through the faucet. So that's really something that people need to be concerned about. And for them to glaze over and says, yes, Biden supports fracking is very
they said that Biden wants to cut fracking.
No.
Biden, the truth, and one of the fact checkers from the BBC, they said no. Biden stated that he's not going to cut fracking, but he also said that there will be no more new fracking.
Okay, so does everybody understand what fracking actually is?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think that.
The people that's on the line, maybe the other people. Go ahead and explain it, Eric.
But correct me if I'm wrong, fracking was started by the Obama administration.
It doesn't matter who started the fracking. It's the process of the fracking is to drill down into the ground to push pressure down into the ground, physically drilling into the ground to release gases out of it so that you can use for other sources of energy.
Right. Right. Through pressurized liquids, right? And so the thought is that and it's also referred to as hydraulic fracturing, right? Mm-hmm. And the results of it by many scientists reports is that it contributes to greenhouse gases, that it causes global warming, it triggers earthquakes, it pollutes our air, and it also destroys our drinking water supplies. So those are the effects of it, right? And so, if we believe the science, right? Because we can't say in one hand, believe the science when it's convenient for us, and then say don't believe the science when it's not convenient for us. And so I'm listening to that debate about it, and if you understand that this is creating devastation, right? Why not just end it? So you've got, under the Green New Deal with the progressives, they're saying we want to just stop it. And you've got a moderate who says, nah, we're not going to increase it, but we're going to keep what we got. And we're going to just keep going there. And then you got the other guy going, we're going pedal to the metal, right? We just going to destroy everything. Scorched earth. I'm sorry? Vincent?
I think what happens is because of money and greed has been wrapped up in this, they are financially invested in fracking and making money because what they see is a faster way to create energy, but they don't care about what's going to happen to the earth because in 100 years they won't be here. So that's not their concern.
And why don't they care? Because we are the commodity to their wealth and to their power.
Well,
Absolutely.
the thing that really got me with one of the things that Pence said is that he said that, okay, we're going to trust the science on this. And Donald Trump always consistently undermines the science.
No, I get that, but I'm saying, so if we're trusting the science on it, and you agree we should, right, Vincent?
Agree.
Okay,
I agree.
right. So we should eliminate all fracking,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and so when you got a guy, when you
And one of the things, the only thing that fracking and it's being pushed by is the actual oil industry to keep themselves rich. That's it. We've gotten better technology with battery power and clean, reliable energy sources.
Right.
That we can eliminate the use of actual fossil fuels by 2023.
Sure. Well, this is what Bernie Sanders is saying and what AOC and the rest of the progressives are saying, right? But you got a moderate and you got an extremist, right? You got a moderate in Biden and you got an extremist in Donald Trump. And neither is good for us, right? Both of them, one in moderation and one in an extreme way, are working to ensure the continued wealth and prosperity of the oil industry.
Well, the thing with moderate and extremist in nature is this: there is a proper time for both to be effective. When it's time to fight, that's when you need your extremists. Let's get out there and let's do it. But extremists tend to go too far. But when it's time to fight in terms of a moderate, they're like, okay, let's take it one step at a time, one step at a time. And that's it. It's like, Holyfield versus Mike Tyson. One's a stick and moving, the other one's straight body blows to knock you out.
Well, when they're talking about environmental concerns, it was interesting that nobody would bring up stuff that would do less damage to the environment, like solar panels and or wind energy. So those have never been discussed by either party, which is more concerning. So some of the other takeaways from the debate. Go ahead, Jody.
No, I was just saying, right, I agree. I felt, because, well, first of all, I think that when they do that, right, when they say fracking, I think that they assume, which is true, that a large part of the audience that was watching them didn't even know what the hell fracking was, but they know it sounds bad, right? He's for fracking. He's not for fracking. So for that, it came off really bad, right? And I knew, because I knew a piece, but was I extensive in my knowledge as Eric just went? Absolutely not, right? What I thought was interesting was that when he said Joe Biden was against it, she seemed very, very adamant about he wasn't, which was that call to an industry.
There you go. And that, Jody, and that's exactly what happened.
When it equals out the dirties of both parties.
There you go.
We have to know that.
That's right. So what happened was this: if you paid attention, and it was a nuance there. What he was trying to do is separate Biden from the progressive wing of the party.
And Trump did the same thing.
Yes. So he said he wants, he wants to wait, what did
He wants to divide or split their vote and kill their motivation,
right,
by causing dissension and lack of loyalty to the actual cause.
right, but it is true, right? So if you but that particular wing of the party, those people understand what the science is saying, right? The science is saying, and I'm reading what Dre Sandrod is saying, is that the Earth is going to end one way or another. Got that, dude. But the point is, we don't have to contribute to the speed at which it does end, right? And for those who want to, who have visions of what generations might, of their offspring might look like, they want it to be around for a little bit long, me included. So, I'm listening to
what he's saying is that Earth is going to end one way or another, and I think you're right. But I mean, they also say that we're going to die one way or the other. But do we need to hasten it by a bullet?
Yeah. Or go run. Well, yeah. See, because to that logic, Dre, I would say, then hell, why stop at a red light or a stop sign? Just blow through them all, dude, because you're going to die one way or another. So, roll the dice, take the chances. See, I mean, when I see when I see comments like that, it infuriates me, right? Because no, we do responsible things, even though we know the inevitable, right? I know I'm not gonna live forever, but what do? I eat right, right? I go to the doctor, right? I take medication, I take vitamin, I do all of those things, even though I know that, what do they say? When your time clock is punched, it's punching. Nobody knows the given time or whatever. You still take the necessary precautions because you're not trying to hasten it. And so I'm saying they're hastening it. And science says that they're hastening it. And we should all be about the business of slowing it down.
Right, and that's the whole concept of global warming, hastening the inevitable. And to be honest with you, I forget who said it, but I think it was Walt Whitman, but don't hold me to it, all of our fact checkers. He said this: we do not own the earth. We borrow it from our grandchildren.
So Harris dodges a question on expanding the Supreme Court. Pence tried to get Harris to answer a question that she and Biden have repeatedly sidestepped. Do they support expanding the Supreme Court as many liberals are advocating? Harris sought to put the focus on the Republicans' decision to move forward with filling the current Supreme Court vacancy. She went on to say, and I quote, "I'm so glad we went through a little history lesson. Let's do that a little more," she said. She went back to 1864 when she said Abraham Lincoln didn't think it was right to fill a vacancy 27 days before an election. End quote. The American people are voting right now, and it should be their decision about who will serve on the most important body of the lifetime, Harris says. What are your thoughts?
Well, so there are a couple things, and understand the nuance of it, whether you agree with it or not. Here's the nuance. The nuance was that Obama was in the completion of his second term, right? Right. So he could not be reelected. And the argument, at least, was that you should allow the election of, and it would have been Hillary or Trump, to decide who the next Supreme Court justice would have been, right? That it shouldn't be Obama. What the argument now, whether you agree with it or not, is that Donald Trump is concluding his first term, but can be reelected, and so allow him to do this. Now, we could argue those points, but that is the nuance that is being argued on both sides. With regard to packing the court, see, here's where I am there. I don't think we should. I think 9 is where we've been, or if they want to do it, then they should just say it, right? So they've been asked twice. Biden was asked in his debate with Donald Trump, and Kamala was asked very, very straightforwardly last night, and both of them refused to answer the question. So, I mean, I don't champion anybody who dodges questions. So you should want an answer, guys, from both of them, from Biden and from Kamala. Is their intent, if Donald Trump pushes through his nominee, or if the Senate pushes through his nominee, confirms her, if Biden is elected, will the Democrats seek to pack the Supreme Court by adding additional justices? I want to know.
So
let's look at it in terms of government.
One second.
Vincent.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Instead of you're saying that it is as simple as a nuance, it wasn't about that whole little, Obama was finishing a term forever, right, and that he is not. It was about the will of the people, right? What the Republicans said was that the people should speak, that in an election year, not in an election year where the guy's going to leave and he's never coming back, or the end of an election year where the guy's going to come back. It was that.
I know, I understand what they said then. I'm saying what the argument, the nuance now. I understand what they said then.
I'm just saying, I think that It doesn't matter. But okay, let's go beyond that. Then there is the issue of the stacking of the courts, right? Like, and you can't keep asking for righteousness when you're not righteous, right? You can't say, hey, answer all the questions, Kamala. Tell us what you're going to do tomorrow and tell us what you're going to do in 27 days. Even though I tell you what I'm going to do on Monday, and it's a big-ass lie, and then I Tuesday, and I quite not tell you anything at all. I don't tell you how sick I am. I don't tell you if I am sick. I don't tell you when I get sick. Like, you can't have that. That's just, like, so disingenuous for us to expect. But moreover, this is something different. This wavering of the court can take a woman's decisions away. This is, and sometimes I think when men talk about this, they kind of downplay it, because if your body ain't on the ballot, then it just kind of doesn't move you.
Well,
Our bodies are on this ballot.
I agree with you, Jeff. And I think one of the points that Kamala does not point out is, because she wants to be a black woman whenever she wants to be, is being a woman, period. And that the fact that, and what she should be addressing is the fact that they're even trying to move the dial on that decision. She should be blatantly saying that no man has a right to make a decision about his body. Point blank, period. She would win over all the women right there. That would bring all the women.
How he was willing to say it, Diane? Did
Yeah.
you see how he was willing to say he believed in that? He was pro-life, and he was saying it. That was crazy.
And she backed away. She had an opportunity to say, no man has a right to decide or create a law to decide what a woman does with her body. That's it, point blank. But she won't even say that.
Well, the actual topic of stacking the Supreme Court was started by President Roosevelt, and the only reason he wanted to do it was because there were too many opponents of the New Deal, and he knew that the justices weren't in his favor. So he wanted to actually do that, which that bill got, defeated horribly. And the same thing more than likely will happen. And the theory is, and what the Republicans are saying, is that if they flip the Senate as well as maintain the House, they will have the actual votes to increase the justices. And we're looking at, not only are we talking about reversing Roe v. Wade, or giving a woman an actual right to control what happens with her body. We're also looking at them reversing things like civil rights. He's already done things in place to remove the Fair Housing Act, and and they've also decreased the standards in terms of, what do they call it, affirmative action. So what we're looking at is not only just women's rights are in place, but changing the actual laws that gave the legal version of fair and equal anything for black people in general is now at stake.
Regardless of what laws they're looking to reverse and or change, what people who are watching these debates and are listening to these candidates should remember is they are playing to win at their game. So one is willing to expand, so it's in favor of them while they're in office. The other one is looking to expand and get people in office, so when I'm out of office, they're still supporting it. That's what the bottom line is. They're throwing our issues up there for grabs. They don't really care about those issues. They just want the power and the control, and they use our issues as talking points to sway us emotionally to or away from their side. Now, another thing that they spoke about last night in regards was COVID. And Pence avoided the discussion in regards to the Rose Garden event and COVID. Pence defended the administration's refusal to follow the CDC guidelines as wearing a mask and staying 6 feet apart. As you know from the last debate up until this debate, they put rules in place that they would be sitting so far apart that they would put up shields 12 feet apart, and they would put up plexiglass barriers between them, and everybody was supposed to be required to wear masks. But as you saw at the end of the debate, Pence's wife came on stage, and she did not have a mask on. and they talked about how people in the audience, they had a small audience, and everybody was socially distanced apart. But he did not go on to talk about the effect of the president, and she should have brought that up. The same president who said, and I think, Eric, you talked about this under your fact check, about she saying that the president said that this was a hoax, when in fact it was something that the Democrats were saying, and Trump was saying that the Democrats were creating a hoax. Can you mention that, Eric?
Yeah. So I mean, go ahead.
I did it on
Eric?
No. Go ahead, Vincent.
I did on NBC News and their fact checker, and they said that it was a half. It wasn't altogether complete. And in fact, Donald Trump said that the COVID virus was a Democratic hoax.
Right.
She said that Trump said that it was a hoax. She forgot that Trump said that it was a Democratic part.
I don't think she forgot. just like Jody corrected me, rightfully so, in saying that Pence knows about white supremacy and knows about the racism that exists, structural racism, and his basking in his white privilege. He's fully aware of that, right? So I think that Kamala is fully aware, right, of what Trump said, and but what he said and what Kamala wants to have the American people believe he said is different.
Or project.
It's different, right?
But and the American people will make their decision based upon what is to be right.
But I want to ask you a question though. I want to get back to the
campaign.
Right. Right.
Puts it on a commercial
Right.
of Trump
Right.
saying it's a Democratic hoax.
Right, but I want to get back to the courts for a second with you, Vincent. So, do you believe if Donald Trump's nominee is confirmed, right? Do you believe that and then let's say Kamala and Biden win, and they win the House and the Senate? Do you believe that they should pack the Supreme Court, that they should increase the number of justices?
Do I believe that they will do it, or do I?
No. Do you believe that they should? Do you believe?
Different...
Do you believe they should do it?
No, I don't believe that they should do it.
Okay.
I think that the laws of our land have been reviewed, understand, and interpretations have been drawn by the nine chief justices, by the nine justices of the Supreme Court, which I can't say that I'm all for making that change, but and the answer to the other question, first, Trump has to have enough Republicans who are healthy enough, which is why they're trying to push this nomination, so that when it comes to the actual vote, that people will be healthy enough to give him the green light. The second thing is Trump doesn't do anything for anybody except Donald Trump. I believe that he wants this woman up there so that it sways things to his favor, because when he loses this election, he's getting arrested, and he's going to push it to the Supreme Court, which means that he will now have people in his favor who will remember him appointing him and vote to rule in his favor. He doesn't care about that other stuff. He doesn't care about that other stuff. That's the other politicians who wanted to overturn Roe v. Wade. He could care less about the other stuff, because it's the corporation of white supremacy that want to start eliminating some of the civil rights that we have fought so hard to get, which we're only successful for 30% of it. He doesn't care about anything but Donald J. Trump.
So moving forward, Trump is objecting what the commission of the presidential debate said, that the second Biden-Trump matchup, which is next week, will be virtual because of the virus concerns. But the president called that plan ridiculous. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, so here's the science, right? We got to follow the science. So the science says that Donald Trump contracted COVID, right? And that I don't know where he stands now, but then there is an isolation period, and at the end of the isolation period, he should be fine. Beyond that, they say that once you contract it, your body produces antibodies, right? And then so I want to follow the science. So when is the next debate scheduled for?
Next week, I'll give you a date.
Okay,
So,
so
what should
so we're talking 14 days, right? 14
what you're
days.
telling me is Trump had COVID, per his words and these doctors, and he was able to be released from the hospital in 4 days. However, Governor Christie, who probably suffers from the same fat illnesses that Trump has, is still in the hospital since Saturday. And Trump is, I don't know, 15 or 16 years older than, no, probably 20 years older than Christie. And he was able to recover that fast?
Well, I don't know, right? So I'm not his doctor. I'm not privy to any of his medical records or anything like that. I'm simply saying, based on what's on the books in terms of science, there is a. Go ahead, Vincent.
Well, one of the things that you have to say that after the 14-day quarantine, you have to be retested.
No doubt. I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. So I wouldn't call it.
You're looking at Trump wanting to, like he puts the rest of the country in danger, now put Biden in
No,
danger.
stop it.
And
So if they set it up, no, I'm not gonna let you do. See, this is what. No, I'm not gonna. But I'm not gonna let you. But right. But I stop you when you get absurd.
But we heard your opinion.
No, you cut me off actually, and then I let you. And I said, "Go ahead, Vincent." That's what happened. But go ahead.
Okay. So can I finish?
Sure, you can.
Or would you like me?
No, go ahead. But I just don't want absurd statements made. Like who's he putting at risk?
But Eric, those statements are my opinion.
No, I'm not saying it's not. Well, it's my opinion that pig can fly, right? But that is an absurd statement. But go ahead.
Okay. To continue. All right. One of the big things that Trump is fighting about is not the simple fact of him being, not the simple fact he's being contagious, because he could care about that. He could care less about that. Just like the over 14 people from the White House, the servants and staff who serve him and take care of him, have contracted the virus. What Trump is upset about is that going on to a monitor, they have the power to shut off his mic. So his tactics of interrupting won't work.
Right. So that I'm not even going to argue that point. But can I finish, Jody? Real quick. Just literally 30 seconds, Jody. Jody, 30 seconds. I'm not even. I'm.
Because you can't say when he had it, right? Because he won't tell you that information. So you can't even count out your 14 days, Eric. You can't say when was the last time he tested for it, because they refuse to answer that. So you can't even count out your 14 days.
Right, but that.
Expect for someone to go into a space when all the rules change for you. If this was a mayoral debate or anything in this country right now, everyone would have to say, when were you last tested?
Right.
When did you get it? And then we would count out when it is appropriate for us to move forward with this specific kind of platform.
So are you saying that there is no that? Are you saying that there's no timeline of when he got it?
No, that's what I'm telling you. So they haven't been able, right? They haven't been able to get his doctors to answer, right? When he left, the day before he left the hospital, he wouldn't answer when was the last time he had a negative test. He wouldn't say that. He wouldn't say when he got it. Remember.
Well, we don't. So let's say this, though, Jody. We don't need to. But listen, we don't need to know when he got it. We need to know when he was diagnosed with it, right? That's what we need to know.
They won't say, right?
No, but he said whatever date that hit the news, right? And it was the headline that went around the world that said Donald Trump said, right. So Thursday. So count Thursday, right? So we know at least on that day, right? He was diagnosed with COVID-19.
I don't know if I should interrupt you or let you do the numbers, because here's the thing, ready?
Right.
That's Donald Trump who said that. That's why this is such.
But you're missing the point, right? But
you
So wait a minute. So wait. I know, and I get that. I get that too. But what I'm look, I just want to be reasonable about this, right? So he says he has it on Thursday, right? He gets admitted
Early
in.
Friday morning.
He gets
As
it
of 1 o'clock Friday morning. Go ahead.
right. Then he gets admitted into the hospital, right? The doctors then confirm that he had contracted COVID-19, right? So if we don't count anything prior to that, we say at the moment that the doctors confirmed that he had it, we go he had it. He has it, right? So now count from if you count from that day, right? Until well, not even counting that day. You have to count now when the doctors say that he no longer has it, right?
That's what I'm talking. That's
So
what I just
so
told you.
now wait a
They
minute.
wanted to know when he left the hospital. With the question the doctors were asked as, when was the last time he tested negative? Meaning, since he's been under your care, since he said he had it on Thursday,
Right.
it's now Monday. Tell us when the last time he tested negative. They refused to answer, right? So this new gameplay of nothing's natural, nothing's normal, you don't know, that this president would say, you can't know when the last time I tested negative, and you can't tell me I can't be in a room full of y'all. That's ridiculous.
There were
Ridiculous.
the fact checkers, and based upon and some doctors, and this is their opinion, and they said based upon the rapid recovery that he had, that they're estimating that he had tested positive for COVID virus around 10 to 12 days ago.
So based on what we know, based on moving forward, the next debate is going to be October the 15th. Do you believe that there should be a virtual debate as opposed to in person based on his history of being COVID positive, not even sure if he's COVID negative now, just for the safeguarding of those who have to be in the room with him?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. Absolutely.
So what I would say is this: I would want to understand the science of it, right? So if in the end there's no timeline where doctors are saying that we tested him and he tested negative and he tested negative for this period of time, right? If I don't have that information, then we have to go with the information that we have, which is that he had COVID-19 and we don't know anything else. And so, yes, we need to protect those people. But I'm saying I want to act again, not just on Eric's feelings. I want to anchor it in some data. Call or go.
Hey guys, what's up, Darren here? How's everybody doing?
What's going on, D. Martin?
Hey, Darren.
Diane, wait a minute. Stop for 1 second. Wait a minute. Stop. Diane, when I call in and I call you in the morning to get ready for the show, you don't go, "Hey, Eric."
Because you're a pain. You're annoying. I talk to you 5 or 6
And
times a
the
day.
hate has
What
officially
can I
begun.
say? No, I love Eric, but I talk to him 5 or 6 times a day, and I'm usually at home. So for me to give you that type of love while I'm at home with my husband is a little bit crazy.
No, he no. So listen.
Yeah, that would increase the chances of you not getting the perfect Christmas present.
Nah.
Hey, Eric, don't get me killed, Eric, please. Hey, listen, guys. So, and you guys all made some great points. Everybody, all of you guys, Jody, all of you guys. Debates have become more talking points and less substance over the years. Here's my point. None of them answer questions directly, either side. So, and it don't seem to be either way, in terms of who's going to vote for who not. Even when they were talking to supposedly undecided voters. I think that's what they're so undecided. Like that's a bunch of crap. That's people that want to be on TV and want to get a little leverage. I don't know what it is. But here's something. My point is, I don't believe, and I said this to my live last week, or after we heard Trump had contracted the COVID. I don't believe there's been a live debate last night because Pence or anybody could test negative right now, but the incubation period is a 14-day period, so it doesn't mean he's not positive or it's not in his system, and we don't know what's true and what's not true. So I don't think it should have been one last night. So to answer the other question you guys said, of course, Trump don't want anything virtual because it's not in his wheelhouse to have a debate like that. He wants an open situation like he had before, where he can interrupt people. And did the same thing last night. I just think we've seen a pattern here. I don't think.
All right, Darren, but let me stop you for 1 second, Darren, because again, I just want to follow the science, right? So this was something that came out yesterday prior to the debate. It said it is safe for Pence to participate in the debate, CDC directors say. Right? And then it goes on. It says it is safe for Vice President Mike Pence to participate in the Vice Presidential debate tonight. U.S. Center of Disease Control and Prevention Director Dr. Robert Redfield said in his statement released on Tuesday. Redfield said that the CDC had a consultation with Dr. Jesse, I can't pronounce the last name, I apologize, currently serving as the White House medical unit. And based on descriptions, the vice president is not a close contact in any known person with CDC. I'm sorry, with COVID, including the president, was not in close contact. For COVID-19, the CDC defines a close contact as a person who was within 6 feet of an infected person for 15 minutes or more, starting from 2 days before illness onset or positive specimens collections until the patient is isolated. Now, to Jody's point, though, based on the data, right, they're saying that he may have had COVID before he announced that he had COVID. And so now if you contact trace that all the way back, the question then was Mike Pence within 6 feet of the president for more than 15 minutes? But I'm just saying to you that the same CDC and the same doctors that we want to trust about masks and about all these other things are saying that it was safe for him to do that last night.
Well, Eric, here is the thing and your point. Now, when the CDC, which Trump has his buddy as the actual director, who's not a doctor nor knows anything about pathogens, diseases, or anything, makes the press release. So they tend to always, recommend or put up the CDC to make a statement that's in their favor.
Okay, so my question to you is this: do we believe the CDC or don't we?
Do I believe the CDC? I believe the CDC before Trump got in office, but right now they're suspect.
So here we go, right? So to Mike Pence's point yesterday regarding Kamala Harris when she was asked about the vaccine, right? And saying, no, I wouldn't take the vaccine. And we're sitting here talking about anti-vaxxers and whether now you have a vice presidential candidate on national television sowing doubt about taking a vaccine. Here we are now questioning the CDC. And so now do we wonder why the spread is continuing, right? So when it's convenient for us.
But wait, no, don't drop that in.
Nope, I'm gonna drop that in your lap because either we have to accept them as an authority or not.
She said that it's the doctors. She said
if the CDC says take it, I'll take it.
Yes. She said, but
she said if Trump says it, no.
Come on.
No, but I'm right.
Listen, the CDC, and that's where we get this. We keep forgetting all this power that's being wielded in all these spaces, right? So the CDC tried over and over and over again in this last 7 months to put out something, to say these are the guidelines, to say follow them, and then you would see it. You would actually see the political pressure coming from the White House, and then they tweak it and change it to something Donald Trump said. That's been what we've been living in for the the last 6 months. People changing by pressure of politics on top of medicine. I think she was very clear in that in any question relating to medicine that she said, let's follow the medicine that he was not willing to do. So he made it that way.
And the biggest slap in the face is when Pence turned around what Trump does and put it on Kamala, Vice President candidate Harris, and said Kamala, and said, why are you politicizing medicine? And that's what Trump has been doing all along.
Oh no!
Well, let's be clear, guys.
How to say her name? Because I need you to say her name right. Like
Kamala.
A comma
said
and a la.
Kamala.
I'm sounding it out for you. Comma and then la. Kamala.
That's what I said.
We learned how to say Barack Obama. We can learn how to say her name.
It's going to take some time, and I did say Kamala.
Yeah.
And and the big thing that's confusing with me is that I know some people named Carmela and Carmela. So in saying her name, those tend to come out.
Yeah, there's no R.
Habit.
There's no R.
Okay?
Just take the R.
I'm not doing it to be disrespectful to her.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm very, very happy that she's in that position.
Okay, thank you. Now let's move on. Go ahead, Eric. What were you saying?
Oh, I wasn't saying it. I just said there's no R.
I was saying,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was saying, guys, that what concerns me is that we now have an administration that won't even do contact tracing. So, they don't do science, they don't do contact tracing. I mean, that's a norm on so many levels. See, the problem with this election, guys, is that not only is stability on the ballot, we have to let science, like you said, Eric, let science. There's a minute people that believe global warming is real. They don't believe that there's systemic racism in the world. Again, Biden and Harris records to be up for discussion, but we cannot ignore the pretty obvious here, Eric. I mean, these people don't believe anything except for what they believe.
No, they believe it. They just don't. They don't want to talk about it and bring light to it, because if you talk about it, then it could be the truth. So they're very aware that there's racial, systematic racism throughout everything. They understand it because, like Eric said earlier, they have white privilege, so they definitely understand that. They understand him saying I'm pro-choice means that he's going to stop people from making a choice with their bodies. He's going to talk about religion and say I'm a Catholic because he wants to iterate what people need to understand is that Catholics are pro-choice and against abortion. He is very deliberate about what he says and does.
Pro-life.
Right.
Pro-life.
And look how he's manipulated in New York now. You have the Jewish in New York who don't want to, they have not followed the guidelines. They are anti-vaxxers. They don't want to wear masks, etc. Now, this is what you won't see in New York. Now that you got the Jewish people out there, city Jewish people out there protesting, you won't see none of them get thrown down and get arrested. You won't see none of them get. Now they grab tents and Trump signs, carrying those. They burned some things up. They did a reporter the other night. They did something last night. I bet you not one of them will be arrested. Nobody's going to be arrested. They won't touch those Jewish people. They won't touch them.
Absolutely, you're right, Darren. Nobody was arrested at last night's protest. One reporter was hurt in the protest, but there were no arrests or any of the burnings and everything that they did. But you have to also understand in Brooklyn and those areas, they have their own police system. So the Brooklyn, and this has been in place for many years, the Brooklyn Police Department adheres to their police. So therefore, if they have a domestic or whatever's going on in their community, their police first handle it, and then if they want to turn it over to the Brooklyn Police Department, then it's turned over to them. That's a community that is a community, unlike many others.
Scary. Pretty scary. Pretty scary is all I can say. Well, now, Eric, to your other point earlier, I'll say this as well. And I said this on I think when me, you, and Vincent was talking last week. as far as this Supreme Court goes, there has to be something. I don't know about no stacking or whatever's going to have to stack it. They should answer the question. I got you on that. I'm talking about there needs to be term limits. You can't give
Yes.
lifetime judgment.
No, I agree with that.
Cut this crap out with lifetime judgment. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They did until they die. It's
Yeah.
like the politicians in New Jersey. The only way to get rid of them, they got to go to jail or they got to die. Now, come on.
Well,
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that about the Supreme Court, but I would definitely say that about the federal courts. He's got these 40-year-old, white, young Republican conservative mindsets, and they are there for life. That means
So why would you say not the Supreme Court?
Huh? Why wouldn't I say Supreme Court? Because you have to look at the best and the brightest minds in the Supreme Court right now, and it takes a level of cohesion. It takes a level of understanding and actual time that they actually become a unit. The Supreme Court. Now, they will have their infighting. That's all right and understandable. But they all know that they are there and they're there for life, which means that their opinion, that they're shaping and governing and interpreting the laws of our land would not be swayed by the simple fact of, well, I'm a lame duck, so let me, and my person who elected me or selected me wants me to rule on this, so let me go ahead and do that. No, they have the ability to actually look into themselves and decide what's fundamentally right without the threat of losing their position or changing their position.
Right. So let me ask you a question. So let me ask you a question. But so when we have the argument about liberal justices or conservative justices, or whether they're going to strike down Roe v. Wade, right? Now you're giving them a lot of credit for looking within themselves and making sound decisions based on some moral whatever or another. But the decisions when we look at the Supreme Court, aren't their decisions typically made along political alignments, right? So
no, the Supreme Court is selected politically.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying no.
The ideology of the person.
No, I understand that, but you're saying that the shaping of the laws are not governed by that same alignment.
I'm saying that the shaping of their appointment is governed by that.
No, but I asked you.
No, let me finish, Eric.
Well, answer my question. It's a straight question.
Please. Now, what I'm saying is that they're appointed by the shaping of the.
I understand that piece, but that's not the question I asked you.
Since they are there for life, people change, opinions change, ideologies become facts at some point, and they are able to rule upon that.
Okay, so
I'm
then
saying that at some point in time, they will have an epiphany between themselves and the God of their understanding.
there we
that
go.
They want to do what's fundamentally right.
Got it. So then, okay.
Do you think
No,
we're going to wait for someone's epiphany?
wait a minute. So wait a minute. So cool.
Do you think that women will wait for an epiphany? So that's to say, right, that if this happens, right, so if this happens and she gets in and they overturn Roe v. Wade, I'm supposed to live out the rest of my 50 years waiting for someone with a lifetime servant to have a freaking epiphany?
No,
Listen,
that's not what I'm saying. Jody.
I don't know what you're going to say. I'm just saying that was kind of wild to say. That was weird. That was weird.
Jody, then let me clarify it.
one person.
Then Jody, allow me to clarify it. When I said waiting for what I'm saying, waiting for an epiphany. When everyone is faced with a decision, they're dealing with the moral dilemma of doing what's right or for what person or what party. That's all I'm saying. One of the things that them having a lifetime servitude eliminates that one thing on their mind, which we're hoping, because I don't know what's in everyone's mind, but we're hoping that they will deliver the right decision based upon that, and not deliver the wrong decision based upon I've only got a short amount of time.
And can we have another point of clarification here? And I appreciate the comment in the thread. Vincent, you said that these are the best minds, right? And the comment here, I think we can all agree that it's someone's opinion of the best.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
No.
Again, I'm saying, as I always say, this is Vincent.
No. I'm not saying Vincent. It's not about you, Vincent. I'm saying so. Donald Trump appointed Kavanaugh, right?
Kavanaugh.
So you're saying Kavanaugh is one of the best minds, right? And so what the person is saying is no. He was Donald Trump's opinion of the.
Yeah,
Wait, let
Yeah,
me
go ahead.
see. Right. So if you just let me finish what I'm saying, right, then you'll understand what I'm saying. He
That's
said
not it, Eric. You're breaking up in my mic, so I don't know if you're finished or not.
no. So what Dre Sandrod is simply saying is that your comment that Kavanaugh is now one of the best minds is not an accurate comment. That is Donald Trump's opinion that Kavanaugh is one of the best or better minds. That's
Okay.
all. That's what he's
Now,
saying.
Okay, and let me give you my opinion of why I said that, including Kavanaugh. If you look at Kavanaugh's record, he was actually brilliant in a couple of cases, including the Bill Clinton incident. I mean, absolutely brilliant.
I'm not saying he wasn't, but he wasn't the.
Now, I'm not, yeah, I think that he's a piece of work.
Right.
But in terms of his, and I think that he's brilliant in terms of swaying it to get to reinforce the opinion and mindset for his client or whoever he's working for. But and so yes, he is. He is. I mean, he is one of the. He's at the top of his game.
Right.
It's a piece of trash that he was appointed by Trump, but he's still at the top of his game.
So I think the problem that people have. One second, Jody. I think the problem that people have, and I think the problem that people have, Vincent, when you speak is you don't give context, you give opinion. And when you want to talk about, and somebody asks you a question simply by, you think they're great minds, and you talk about Kavanaugh, you just gave another opinion. You did not reference any particular concrete fact.
I did say that he was brilliant, especially in the Bill Clinton thing.
So brilliant is an adjective, which can be an opinion. So let's just say that. So that's what people are trying to reference inside of the feed. You are stating stuff that does not have a fact behind it. I could say you're brilliant, and everybody in the feed is going to say that's not a fact. Because I didn't base it on anything. I didn't base it on this is because he does X, Y, or Z, or he has expertise in it. You didn't do that, and I think that's the problem. You keep backing your stuff up with opinions.
Yeah, when I'm saying that it's fact, it's fact. But when I'm saying it's opinion, it's my opinion. And in my opinion, and I don't stand alone in that because he was appointed and approved. But, and there are people who hate him that even talked about, he is good in terms of his job.
All right. What were we going to say?
My original point, and I think Eric is right, that all of these appointments, whether it's Democrat or Republican, Supreme Court or any court, federal, it is all done by the sort of pundits and the people in elected. And that's why I stand for my position that federal, Supreme, have all judges. Nobody gets lifetime judges. No different than politicians to be able to be a mayor for 20 years or a congressperson for 50 years. There has to be time limits put on all of this stuff, guys, because it's not good. Yeah. It's just not good.
Well, but do you agree? Because I mean, do you think there's any validity to the argument that you don't want these Supreme Court justices to be swayed by the threat of being removed in their decision making, right?
Eric, everybody is swayed. They are human beings. So they are going to be swayed. So for us to think that they won't be swayed because their time is up is really a moot point. The point is...
No, that's not what I'm saying, Diane. What I'm saying is this. So, for instance, Kavanaugh gets appointed by Donald Trump, right? And so Donald Trump may very well have taken him out for some coffee and some filet mignon and said, hey, listen, I love your opinion on this and I love your writing on that. your views about these things, and this is kind of where I see things going. So trying to nudge or persuade him with his own thoughts about things. But now, once Kavanaugh gets appointed and confirmed, right? Once he's confirmed, now Donald Trump can't affect him, no matter what he does. So he literally could offer up opinions. And that's right, and weigh in the complete opposite of what Donald Trump had anticipated, and expect no retaliation from him politically because he's there. However,
And guess what? We've seen it, right? We've seen it with DACA, right? This is the only piecemeal we get, right? The last two decisions by the Supreme Court, historically conservative judges ruled against Donald Trump, right? And know what he did? He did what he does to everyone else. He said that was stupid, or we gotta watch him, or he made some
no,
class
but that's my point. But that's a question.
Exactly.
But that's the question I'm asking. That's the question I'm asking Darren. Is that if they were concerned about a timeline, exhausting in terms of them being on the court, right? And then they're now looking and they're looking beyond what they should be doing, selflessly, to what they're going to do selfishly to stay in the good graces of those who could keep them on the bench. They may not have had the courage to rule against them. Is what I'm suggesting. And so, because of that, do you think that protecting them by giving them a lifetime position allows for what Vincent called an epiphany?
Well, let me.
No, I'm asking Darren. It was a question to Darren.
Darren.
Oh, okay. Good, Vincent. Maybe he'll come back on.
When I said epiphany, it was more in the spirit of what I was saying. Was more to what you were saying. The understanding that my job is not in jeopardy. Whether I do A or B, and I'm going to look at the office that I hold and wearing this robe and what it means, and I can make some fundamental changes or bring about fundamental understanding to better the society of America. That's it.
Well, the problem would be that this specific appointment, right, is done for reason, right? She has had to have said that she is very willing, and her past writings and her past decisions said that she is willing to slash down Roe v. Wade, and she is willing to take away medical insurance for pre-existing. So she's willing. This is something totally different. That is why we should say that we should wait. That it should just go through what they have adopted as a process so that we don't have that problem. Because here's what's going to be a problem. If that happens, right, I would be a person, when you asked the question, Eric, you asked it of Vincent only. You asked him, would he be willing for them to add to the Supreme Court? And Vincent said no. He was walking that teetering line of trying to be on the right side. But at the end of the day, most women in America will tell you, add them. Do whatever you have to do to protect that right that we have. So that's why this shouldn't happen. So that women don't have to stand up to that, against that decision of changing the course of history, how things are historically done, and what the number of Supreme Court justices are. But if you take away that right from women, it's going to be hell. And we would want them to add as many as you have to add.
Jody, you're right in that ideology, because that ideology is
ideology.
Okay, your opinion is based upon the simple fact of is your opinion based upon keeping the status quo or changing the rules so that you can win?
No, no. That's not an ideology, sorry, and that's not an opinion, right? I'm telling you where women are. That's I'm not even guessing. That's not like me making a prediction. No, that's where we are. Women, and it's weird.
So when you say that's where women are, you're saying that upon how many women you talk to.
Listen. No. So that's why this is such a bad situation, right? Because, and I hate to do this. I hate to call the women's card. We don't need no special alliances, but in this world full of men, it seems like we do sometimes need some special alliances, and we need to call that card, right? No. Women in large part, in droves, in the millions, on both sides of the aisle, Republican women, poor women, rich women, Democrat women, all of us will say, do what you have to do to not put us back 50, 60 years. No, ain't no woman trying to go back. We're not going back.
Okay,
so that we don't have to be put in a precarious situation to abuse our bodies for the right to say what happens to our bodies. Yeah, overturn that. Switch that up to whatever you have to do because, and so when men talk about it, you can talk about it logically. Because some people say, she's just being emotional. But I am talking about it.
When people say you're just being emotional, that's their term for saying you're dealing with PMS. Now, whatever the hell,
Vincent. I don't want to go into PMS
when people say that a woman's being emotional.
Okay, so that's a sexist comment. And I think,
exactly.
Vincent, you have an apology, and you have said it so many times to be inappropriate and making these comments. And I don't understand what it is with your obsession to be so aggressive and make these sexist comments on a regular. Like, you got to stop this.
What do you mean making it sexist? This whole thing is about sex. So you're saying that women can... No. You are saying right now that a woman can make a sexist reference, but I can't tell you a man's view of that?
So tell me what
my reference is not sexist. I'm talking as a woman, right, about a historical change. That's my point.
You are talking as a woman.
Okay.
You are talking as a woman.
PMS had no place in that dialogue. PMS has no place in any dialogue. You're talking to me. Listen, because in large...
That's why I said...
No,
Jody.
That's how you see the world. And to say that...
Vincent, you gotta stop talking. Vincent, but you can't.
And I'm going to repeat. I said I hate that statement that women are being emotional because that translates that she's dealing with PMS. That's what I said. I'm not saying that's not me. That is me giving you, and when you can speak for woman, you, the particular woman, it's difficult for people to understand that you're speaking for women. That's the whole thing.
You are a combination of Trump and Pence together.
That's your opinion.
Interrupted on a regular, always trying to redefine what you said.
No, I'm not trying to redefine, but I'm not going to let you reinterpret what I said.
Interrupting, never knowing when to listen and not talk. You owe Jody an apology.
No, why do I need to apologize for supporting her statement?
You know what? Don't.
Now, explain to me, why do I need to apologize for supporting her statement?
Understand how to communicate and have a conversation, because this show is about conversations. It's not about the Vincent show or Vincent over-talking people or Vincent interrupting people. You have to learn how to listen, because you can't stop talking because you want to infuse your comments. You have to listen more and talk a lot less. That's it. Jody is a guest calling in.
She is a guest calling in. She is. But I'm sorry. You stopped. I thought you were finished.
And you have to say something else. The parents say something, and you have to review.
I'll tell you what. Let me know when I can talk.
Okay, just be quiet. I will, and it's not now. Go ahead, Eric.
No, I mean, I'm just listening. I'm listening to this, and I don't know.
I have a comment, Eric.
Go ahead.
Listen, we should not be surprised, guys, that the Republicans are pushing this appointment through. I truly believe that Democrats are the same thing. I know that people are going to bring up when Obama was president and the Republicans kept pushing this, but shame on the Democrats for not being more aggressive. We've been talking about this party for a long time. At some point, you got to start standing up for one side of your back. And shame on them for not doing the things to the Senate. We got to stop trying to be politically correct all the time because that's not how the world works. It's being politically correct. Yeah. You got to face the position, and as Eric talked about, you got to own that position. You got to own it. So shame on them for not doing it. So I'm not surprised that the Republicans are doing it. If I was in power, I'd be doing the same thing.
Absolutely. I applaud them for doing it. He's within his rights. Trump is within his rights to appoint whoever while he's still the sitting president. If they could push it through, then damn it, they should do it.
And then here's
Because
so
that's their objective.
Abraham Lincoln was
I didn't give you permission to talk, Vince.
oh wait.
I don't need your permission, Diane. Have you ever got that from your God blessed mind?
So
Really? What about it? Third grade? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Give me extra homework? Really?
so
We can roll back the tape again, and we can go back to the part where you said, "I will wait for you to tell me when I can talk."
Okay,
Okay, we can roll that back. So I didn't give you an opportunity.
So-
let me retract that. Okay,
Right.
I'm not gonna wait for Diane to tell me when
right.
to talk.
So
How's that?
so what I want to got it.
To the next point.
Yes,
To the next
Joe.
point before somebody else jumps down my freaking throat. Abraham.
Okay, Eric, really quickly, right? Because I think this is important. I'm gonna make it. Remember, you were talking about how you think he could win, right?
Right.
Did you hear the numbers with regard to early voting?
Yeah.
So listen to this, right? Yesterday, or in the last election, on yesterday's date, 750,000 people had participated in early voting. Yesterday's number was 5,183,000. I do think my prediction, right, that he's going to lose, and he's going to lose humongous. And I don't think it will be carried by the black vote. That's my prediction. Wow.
So, Jody, is there a breakdown with those numbers that tell you exactly whether those were Democratic or Republican territories where they pulled those numbers from?
Yeah, ready? I don't remember the numbers, so I'm not going to lie, because we ain't doing that on this show, right? But, Diane, I know it was more than 60%. I just don't know the number. But it was in large part the Democratic Party coming out to vote. And what I thought was interesting when they showed the states, right? So it's by state, right? So these are states where there is not, it hasn't, black folks haven't come out in their droves as of yet, for lack of a better phrase. And I'm sorry that I'm sitting in my car now talking to you, because so normally I'm at my laptop and I'm pulling information as I go. But Diane, these were in states that are not historically Democrat, but have been voting Democrat, and it is huge. Just imagine 750,000 compared to 5,183,000 is a huge change. Actually, more than 4 times the number of people that are voting. And I do believe people on both sides of the aisle are voting against the hysteria, the chaos, the anger, the dissension, and the total illiteracy of the president who is orange of the United States of America. Vote, vote, vote.
Got it. So well,
everywhere I go.
So Vincent, what were you going to say about? And then I want to close out because we got 6 minutes ago. About I'm curious about Abraham Lincoln. What about him?
Oh Lord.
Abraham Lincoln, on his last term, he had a little more than a year left, and he had the decision of appointing a Supreme Court justice. And he said, at this stage in my tenure, it should not be left up to me, but it should be left up to the American people to vote in the next president that will make that decision.
Right. So
You're busy taking Kamala's talking points.
yeah. Listen. So Jody, I gotta look at the numbers.
And I looked at the numbers. In fact, what they were saying is that Biden was winning on early voting some of the swing states.
Well, that's what I want to look at, right? I want to look at the swing states because that's where we're still dealing with an electoral college, right? So it's not just about the popular vote, right? So you can have all these millions of people voting, but if they're not voting if they're not voting Democrat in these swing states, then it's a problem, right? So I still need to see that. I'm not convinced I'm not convinced it's going to be a blowout. I'm not even convinced that that Biden is going to win. I still believe that I believe that the black vote is a significant component in the top of the ticket winning, and I'm gonna say it again. I don't think the hysteria replaces the absence of something tangible for a large group of people who off-ramped in 2016. And that is the bet. The bet is that the hysteria, that the fear, that all of this is going to be enough for black people to say, forget about what I need, right? I'm going to go and vote because of this. And I don't buy it. I'm telling you.
One of the things, and I don't know if you're going on the history, one of the things is the history of the polls and polling versus the actual facts that we now have. History tells us where we've been. It doesn't tell us where we're going.
Right, but you know what though? That's 100% correct, right? But you know what I follow, and Darren, I'm sure you'll attest to this, right? What do they say? They say Democrats win when there's large voter turnout. Republicans win when it's not. And the large turnout has to be in the black community. And I'm saying to you, I don't believe they are energized enough to have that large turnout. That's all I'm saying.
The polling state that they opened yesterday, and they did, and it was NBC that actually had the reporter out there showing the large line of the turnout, and the majority of people in that line that they were panning and showing and talking to were black.
Okay. Well, we'll
see that, so I don't know.
Yeah, we got to see that. But I'm telling you, that's where the fight is. That's where the fight is. All this other stuff. And I believe that images, right? Because let us be real, right? Right now, you've got the liberal media lined up with the Democratic Party. You got the other media lined up, right? So the images that we see, come on, guys, you don't just rely on those, because you got to believe that they're going to show you what they need to show you to convince you of their narrative, right? If
that theory was true, then Fox would have had a whole bunch of white people showing them polling and voting and saying that they were voting for Trump.
Well, here's the thing, Vincent. I don't know what you saw, but the story that I saw, and what I just reported to Eric, I didn't see any black folk voting. I did misstate. I'm not misstate, but Vincent said I was looking at the swing states. I was looking at lines and lines of white people. That's why I said I thought it was they were going to carry, because I didn't see a report where they showed black people nowhere.
Yeah. All right. Diane just
in fact, they even interviewed a black woman, and she said, and I'm going to quote because I wrote it down.
Real quick quote. We got 1 minute.
She said, I'd rather come early and wait in this line for 30 minutes than to wait for election day and wait 2 hours.
There we go. All right, with that, we're going to end it. Thank you guys for another lively discussion. And how many days do we have, Jody? What's the countdown?
26, baby. 26, baby.
26 days of this. Can we
Tell them
hang?
what to do, Jody. Tell them what to do. Get out and what?
Vote, vote, vote.
Well, you know, I put it down on the streamer of the show. Say you see it says election day is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. And I'm going to add go out and vote. I'll add that, Jody.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I love you guys. And listen, enjoy this beautiful weather. I'm going to go outside and enjoy it.
Beautiful fall day.
It is a beautiful fall day. It is a beautiful enjoy. Darren, it was good talking to you. Hey, D, give me a call, man. I got your business cards. Got to get them to you.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. I'll give you a call.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Vincent, I'm throwing it to you.
Most important thing that we have learned today is that we all have our opinions. Whether we agree with them or not, we have our opinions. And the exchanging of the opinions gives another person an insight that we have not always seen or paid attention to. We've been listening to debates, we've been listening to news cycles, and we've been following social media and getting everyone's opinion. But in 26 days, make your opinion matter. As Michelle Obama said, this is one of the most important times in our history because for a lot of us, we have not lived long enough to see another virus ravage the United States. We have not lived long enough to see the blatant racism that attacks our young and us as well. As Michelle Obama said, get out and vote. Vote like your life depends on it. Because in reality, it truly does. And not just vote presidential, but vote for those do-nothing politicians who have been in office for years. It's time for a fresh look, a fresh start, to build America back better. As we always say on this show, be safe, wear your mask, keep at least 6 feet of distance now, and if you don't have to go out, go out. I'm Vincent Squire on behalf of Eric Dawson, the King of Cobbler, and Diane, the Queen of Media. we like to say, if it's God's will,
She gonna whoop
we'll
your
be back tomorrow to express our opinions and what matters in our lives. God bless everyone.